Okay, guys, before we get into this video, I know that all this shutdown and everything's been going on. Those of you that out on the road right now, if you would, let me know how it's been going for you. And if you wouldn't mind putting what carrier you're with, I'd just be curious to see who's doing, who's been able to get moving, who's been having a hard time getting going. And just your thoughts in general about everything that's going on. Where do you think it's going to go from here? How long do you think this will last? Yeah, just be curious to hear. If you guys would give me a little bit of feedback, man. I'm curious to see what you guys got to say about all this. Drop a comment, tell me your thoughts on all this, and let's get into this video. Hey guys, what's going on, man? Wanted to give you guys an update. I've been home for 8 days now. It was planned home time. The wife was supposed to get knee surgery this past last Thursday. Actually, I got home last Tuesday, delivered Tuesday morning, and well, Tuesday afternoon, then went straight to the house. I delivered in Ohio, so it was just a couple hour drive home. So with this shutdown of everything, since I've been home, you had the big automakers shut down. Pretty much everybody's shutting down, and they're doing the quarantine and kind of some of the... Oh, look at that. Got somebody, if you can see that. Somebody walking with a mask right there. Shit. But yeah, all the shit just, you know, kind of some of the worst case scenarios actually happened, it looks like. The automotive shut down, which trickles down to all the manufacturing. I had reached out to a couple of people with a couple different carriers. One of them was John Elliott with Load 1. So I asked John Elliott, I said, would you say the van portion of Expediting at Load 1 is being the hardest hit? And how are you addressing this with your drivers? And what he had to say is, I would say van's the most, but not much worse than the other classes. All we can do is keep trying the best we can. Big three, meaning the big three automotive, and suppliers going down. Volvo, Mack just announced they are shutting down. Stuff changes daily. Hard to say what's going to happen, to be honest. We haul for some medical companies and hospital equipment companies, so that helps, but not near the volume of manufacturing. Sadly, I think this thing will be the end of a number of carriers. And I told him I agree 100%. A lot of people aren't going to come out of the other side of this still doing Expediting, probably. I'd be surprised at that. A lot of the smaller mom and pop carriers or independents are going to get hit hard. Independents probably can hang on because it's just themselves, but any of the smaller carriers that have 10 drivers, you know, 10 vans under them or less, or between 10 and 20, they're probably going to get hit pretty hard. And haven't been able to tell yet if the rates have went to shit, because I've been home, as I said, and I haven't really kept on top of things as I wanted to, hanging out with the grandbaby and just the family in general. So I got pretty tied up pretty much the whole time so far. But anyhow, the manufacturing is a big part of our industry, and the automotive, you know, manufacturing towards the automotive. And with that being said, as far as not as many going to come out on the other end of this doing very well, that's going to really change some things when it does start turning back up. Everybody will start coming back, because believe me, there's probably freaking 3 for every 1 that drops. There's going to be 3 more that adds on immediately. So it's not like this is going to, you know, kind of self-correct the industry as far as taking away the saturation. It'll probably be a temporary relief, maybe. I'll be curious to see. But overall, it's like a ghost town. You got a lot of people. Like with Barrett basically called the drivers and let them know about the shutdowns, that freight's going to be extremely tough to come by, that they can't promise to keep them busy. They're going to do everything they possibly can. That if they went home, they understand. They've given us the option to be able to go home and shut off the insurance, basically suspend the insurance for a little while. until we get through this, and then get it pumping back up again once everything's normal, or as close to normal as possible. That's the way Barrett's handling it at the moment. And out of, I think we normally have around 60 some odd units. I think 50 are vans, somewhere in that area. Last I heard, just a day or two ago, there's only 14 units in service. So there's a lot of people just decided to go home, which I don't blame them. I mean, some people are pretty concerned over this and want to be with their loved ones. Some people just don't want to be out here and take the risk of contracting it. Me personally, I should be going into service. I don't know if it will be tomorrow, which is Thursday. I'll probably go back in Friday. I really needed to go back in today is what I should have done, because money is going to catch up to me in a minute from staying off. But I wanted to take care of a couple things. I have my second van at home. Had to get some work done on it, so the driver went ahead and just went ahead to go and do DoorDash, which is probably a good thing if you're in a bigger city right now, doing DoorDash or Uber Eats or some kind of food delivery or product delivery locally, through Uber Eats or something. Me personally, I'm just, as I said, I'm going to get back out there and see what happens. I'm going to kind of just feel it out and see what happens. I'm kind of curious. I'm really curious to see how things are going out there. I'll probably ask around on Facebook, some other drivers, kind of see what they're saying, but that's really tough to judge, because usually you hear from the ones that are doing well. The other ones probably won't talk because they're not doing shit, so it'll be tough to get a good grasp of what's going on. So I'll get out and check it out myself. But I wanted to get some work done, as I said, and that's what I did today. That side off to the right, me and a buddy, we took those two panels off in the rear and put obviously the carpeting. We added that, but before I did that, these Transits have an indention where windows would go if it was a passenger van, and so putting those panels up to where they're screwed in at the top and at the bottom left a lot of wiggle wobble, in the center. So what we did is we took some 3/4 inch plywood, did about 4 or 5 inches wide, and put them throughout that indention to give it some stability, to screw it right into that stuff. And then completely changed up those shells over there, totally suspended them as opposed to going all the way to the floor. Made them a little more narrow, and I actually got them more squared off. So got that done. Flipped the floor over, put the clean side up. It was getting pretty dirty. Just cleaned everything up. Did a few other miscellaneous things. But I'll get a little more in depth about the few things I did when I get back out. As you see, I got company getting in the back. That's some buddy that gave me a hand. So I'm going to get out of here, and I will holler at you guys later.